Greenpeace in India is no stranger to pressure from the government. A few years ago, one of their activists was forbidden from leaving the country for a meeting in the United Kingdom. And now, once again, it's a question of their funding. Are they receiving funds from abroad? Well, the Enforcement Directorate seems to think so. Joining us, Executive Director Kshithij Urs of Greenpeace here in India reports that the Enforcement Directorate came, raided Greenpeace, looked at the papers, looked at the files. What can you share with us on this? What happened?
Well, certain representatives of the ED, they call themselves the officers. I think it was the Assistant Director of ED, he came to Greenpeace on the 5th of October, and there was no warrant.
There was no warrant.
There was no warrant. There was no notice, and they started asking for documents.
Okay.
And they had a file which had Greenpeace written on it. And according to our own protocol, we said, it has to be cooperative. So we said, okay, any which way these papers are in public. So they asked for certain account-related documents, and we did provide them to provide the documents to them.
Without a warrant, though, why did you let them in?
Well, they are from the ED, and I know that some of the laws that they implement wouldn't require a warrant, but they need to be procedural, and I would have expected them to at least send us a notice. Yes. There was absolutely no notice
given at all.
No notice. They just walked in.
Okay.
And they asked for documents.
Yes.
And so we did provide them with the documents that they asked. And within half an hour's time, they sat in the office and they also froze all our bank accounts.
Okay. At the same time, right then and
yeah. So they took the bank account details and froze them. And so these are bank accounts which contain money donated by individual donors in India.
From bank account to bank account, direct donations from Indian contributors.
Yeah, every single paisa that Greenpeace spends is raised through fundraising activities. And there are supporters all around India who are ecologically conscious and who feel it is necessary for us to contribute to Greenpeace.
The concern definitely does appear to be that you are getting foreign funding illegally. That seems to be why the ED actually came to you. This funding is not only domestic, but it's foreign as well.
Well, there's a claim and an accusation, and there's absolutely no truth in it. I've been here only for the past 3 months, but I've looked at all the papers, and there's not a single rupee that comes from foreign sources. You may know that Greenpeace was also subjected to an attack earlier, and it's just not one of our staff members was not allowed to fly to UK and attend a UN meeting. There was also the FCRA, which is the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, so that certificate, which was also cancelled. And so there is, the FCRA case is being fought in the court. It is sub judice, so I can't talk about it. And from the time the FCRA got cancelled, which was I think in 2014 or so, there's not a single paisa that we've got from foreign sources. No
foreign contribution at all coming to Greenpeace India. It's all domestic contribution.
Absolutely. Absolutely no foreign funds. And they have the papers with them. And instead of leaking it to the media, they should actually tell us what the issues are.
So you totally deny any ED concerns that you are in fact receiving foreign funding, maybe through other sources, but you're saying there is no foreign funding.
No, there's not just no foreign funds. We also don't take money from the corporate sector. There are a lot of CSR organizations in India today. We don't take money from the corporate sector, nor do we take money from either bilateral agencies or from government departments.
Individual donors?
Individual donors within India.
Now, the concern seems to be DDIIPL, the fundraising institution. That does appear to be a concern, that they may be raising funds from abroad, which they are giving to you. You have hired them to raise funds. What is that equation?
See, most NGOs in India raise funds by outsourcing it to fundraising companies. Okay. And the fundraising companies are not very professional as yet, but it is a business that's just taking off. In fact, there's a lot of interest shown by Europeans as well as Americans, because there is money in the middle class in India, and we have to raise funds for issues related to environment, social justice, etc. And so we also have outsourced the task of raising funds to a company called Direct Dialogue Initiatives. And this is based on an agreement which is subject to annual renewal. And the costing is also done by an independent body.
Okay.
The money that we provide to Direct Dialogue
So
initiatives.
you pay Direct Dialogue's initiative to raise funds for you. You pay them to raise funds for you.
Yeah, this is under a contract.
Okay.
This is a contractual agreement with TDI, and they don't give money to us.
Okay.
They raise funds by marketing Greenpeace to individuals in India. They stand on the streets and raise funds. It's a very difficult task, and they raise funds, and the people who are interested to fund Greenpeace directly transfer their funds to Greenpeace. So there is no wire media at all. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, you're saying that you pay them. And I think among the concerns is that they're saying that, again, it's all what we have heard, is that DDIIPL has actually been paid, say, about 21 crores, but that the fundraising has not been commensurate with the amount they've been paid.
No. We have not paid them 21 crores. See, it's a company.
Yeah.
It's a startup company. And the startup company has raised an FDI.
Okay.
And they have a business plan on their own. And I really cannot talk about it because it's a company I don't know their details
So
at
they
all.
have been funded.
Yeah, they have raised an FDI.
Okay.
And we call, there is an index called the, business, friendly environment. And so the startup company has raised an FDI on a business model. And
They have got foreign funding to set up their company.
Exactly. And it's not our money.
Yes.
And we have outsourced our fundraising task to them. And so they don't give us any foreign money at all. There's absolutely no dealing of them channelizing foreign funds to Greenpeace. That's not how it
That
works.
is not happening. They're not getting foreign funds, which they're passing on to Greenpeace through the back door.
No, the ED has papers, and if they find even 1 rupee being channelized, they can show us those papers.
Have any Greenpeace employees actually gone across to DDIPL to help Greenpeace get this foreign funding through them?
No, DDI was also initiated by a few people who used to work in Greenpeace earlier.
Yeah.
I used to work in another organization earlier, and even there we had fundraising staff members from within who went out and started their own company. And you have people coming and working for you, and they'll even start another company. And legally, there's absolutely nothing wrong in anyone starting any which company they want, right?
Okay.
So is there a violation? That's the issue.
Are you concerned? You said they went through the paperwork and they looked at details of your individual contributors. Does that concern you? And if so, why?
They still haven't. They've asked us, we were asked to submit a requisition, and we did submit a requisition last Tuesday, and for our banks to be defreezed, and they haven't done it so far. And they said they will, for now, they will now issue an official summons with even more information that they want. And amongst the information, they also want details of individual donate.
Would that bother you?
Of course. It's against. I've personally fought the Aadhaar case, and the privacy is a fundamental right now. And so you cannot just divulge information about individuals. They can be subjected to harassment by the state, right? These are middle class, upper middle class individuals who save a little bit of money, and the amount is sometimes as low as 100 rupees, right? And up to about 7,000 rupees. And these are individual donors, except for some who might pay about 50,000 rupees per year.
So why should their data go out there?
It's harassment of a sort.
Now, we've had raids on the Quint, other organizations, the Quint which funds the News Minute, other places have been investigated as well. Do you see this all as part of a pattern, or do you think Greenpeace is a totally separate case, or do you see something going on? How do you view the entire thing?
It's election season, isn't it? And the IPCC report was just released on Monday, and the climate change scenario is absolutely bleak. After I came in as the Executive Director of Greenpeace, I felt it was necessary for us to partner with the government to work on issues related to climate change. And because no single organization can deal with what is in store. And we are actually now getting into what is called the hothouse effect, and which is get the earth into a spiral and an abyss of climate change, which is uncontrollable.
You'd rather that was your focus?
I really wanted to extend my hand. We would still
seek with the government.
We need to partner with the government.
Do you see this as pressure from the government? Do you see this as harassment?
Well, extractive industry is something that we work on. and extractive industry in India is not clean, you know, and so I know where the pressure is coming from.
Do you feel that there is pressure from the government?
Well, you know, the climate change scenario is so bad, and the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, paints an extremely bleak picture. And they are saying we forget 10,000 years. The next 10 years would be extremely crucial. And, you know, so we were actually thinking that we should partner with the government across India to mitigate climate change. Unfortunately, we've got this happening. And, you know, Greenpeace will remain fearless because there's absolutely nothing wrong that we've done. And so we will not go with a begging bowl. Our papers are clean. And we've provided all those papers. This harassment has to stop because we need to work together. And climate change is the largest scenario which requires the attention rather than, you know, diverts, you know, our efforts into something as frivolous as this.
Thank you so much. There will Greenpeace India totally denying receiving any illegal foreign funding and wishing that they were able to concentrate more on fighting climate change. Maya Sharma in Bengaluru for NDTV.